Hi there, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for returning back to my channel. My name is Dayna. I am a practitioner of the healing arts, a spiritual life coach, and a mentor. And thank you so much for being here. This is going to be a little bit of video that you probably are not used to seeing from me. I will not be jump cutting to anything silly or obnoxious. This is actually a very difficult topic for me to talk about, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because so many people recently have started reaching out to me, and I thought, well, now is a good time to share my story, okay? I truly love and appreciate all of the questions that you guys have had for me, and I also appreciate the confidence that you've had in me to share either my stories with you or any of the advice. I appreciate that. Recently, there has been so many people to reach out to me and ask me about talking a little bit about anxiety, panic attacks, suicide. So I thought to myself, well, now's a good time, okay? So I'm going to pace myself through this video. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge for me. I will probably have to take a few breaks, but I'm going to get through this because I have made so many breakthroughs in my life. I've even made this my passion and career. And as I'm sharing this story with you guys, please keep in mind that at the end of the tunnel, everything turns out okay. So I want to take you back to so many years ago, okay? To the passing of both of my siblings. And they died a few months apart from each other, okay? And this actually became what I consider the darkest time in my life, okay? I woke up one morning to discover that my sister had passed away in her sleep, and shortly after that, my brother was killed in a car accident. And this was such a turning point in my life. Of course, the obvious thing that surfaced for me was tremendous confusion. I was so confused as to why God chose to take a mom of a 4-year-old versus me. I don't have any children, you know, at that time, and I was totally confused by that. And what makes this a little more confusing for me is the fact that the last time I saw my brother was at my sister's funeral, and I was giving him a hard time because I was giving him a hard time because I didn't get to see the kids, and I hadn't seen him in such a long time. So it bothered me that my last thought and memory of him was at my sister's funeral. So I guess you could say I had a little bit of survivor's guilt, okay? I just felt like the whole situation was so weird to me because every mother should be there. Every child should have their mother. More importantly, I was trying to figure out how I was supposed to live without her. At one point in time, after my parents divorced, my mom relied a lot on my bigger sister. So my sister became like a second mom. And that changed. So in those moments, I felt like I lost my biggest support, my backbone, the person I fought with all the time, the person who kicked my ass literally to get back into school and graduate. It was just everything that I knew and everything I woke up to was gone. So you can only imagine what was happening inside of me. I just felt like everything was gone. Nothing was making sense in my life. And with the two of them dying so close to each other, I thought, I can only think like, oh my gosh, who is next, right? So what started happening to me internally was I started pushing people away, and any new people that came into my life, I kept a distance from them, because I somehow felt in the back of my mind that it was better not to get attached to people, because I was afraid of like who was going to go next. Okay, and I worked in a nursing home where I took care of a lot of elderly people, and I ended up having to quit the job because I was surrounded by people passing away all the time. Okay, and this is something that I ended up struggling with, because I felt it was better not to get attached to people. And so my world just started to become very small and very empty inside. So without people to talk to, it became an internal struggle. There was just a complete darkness that filled my soul. And I felt as if this pain will never go away. And I carried that for the longest time. And in the darkness, it became darker. And what ended up happening eventually were the day terrors. Okay, so I began to have day terrors, and then I began to have night terrors and nightmares. And then I began to experience full-blown panic attacks, and that crippled me. It became my disability, and it restrained me from just about anything I was trying to do with my life. I was out there just kind of flopping around like a fish, and this was me for the greater part of like 5 years, okay? And I know I'm not the only one who experiences things like this in her life, but I know that my breakthroughs and everything that I experienced was for nothing, okay? I realize that now. At the time, was a completely different story. I bargained with God. I said, if I'm gonna continue to live like this and be in such a state of fear all the time, a state of panic, I don't want to be here. And the thoughts of just ending it were there. I didn't want to do this anymore. So for the longest time, I struggled with that. It really became the only way out of this darkness that I seemed to have fallen into. I didn't want to live with this constant emptiness and this terror that was building in my body, having to run to the bathroom because I could feel feel like this panic rushing over me, so I would just be there and be crying, and I didn't want to live like that. And I came so close. I sat down and I wrote out my suicide letter. And then I remembered who was watching. Her daughter. Her little brown eyes. And I'll never forget that moment, because I felt like my sister was standing behind me, like hitting me upside the head, like, you're not gonna do this to her. And I didn't. So there began my journey to healing. In the beginning, I reached out to doctors, and I was prescribed all kinds of medications, okay? I remember sitting at the kitchen table one morning with a handful of medication, and I'm thinking, why does this look like Skittles? I swear, I had like a handful of Skittles, and they had prescribed this to me for the panic attacks, the anxiety, the whole spiel, okay? And there were times I was coming home from the doctor's office with 2 bags of samples, and they were like, mix and match, take them, see what works. This might not work, this might not work, you know, this might work, I don't know, you know. So it became this guessing game of like, like mixing and matching my pills, okay? After some time, I became so fed up with it. I ended up cutting all of it cold turkey. I was sick to my stomach. I had a consistent headache. I became so lethargic. I was not any better mentally. Nothing that they gave me helped me. And I should probably throw in there, if you're on any medications, please do not cut any of those cold turkey, because I made the mistake of doing so, which caused me a great deal of hallucination. Okay, so if you're watching this, please don't go against your doctor's advice. I'm gonna throw that in there because it can cause you a lot of problems, okay? So I know I felt like I lost a lot. I did. I really did feel like I lost everything. But what was happening to me was that by all of that shedding away, I was beginning to find who I truly was. Okay? I get off on this journey of like, how do I make this right? How do I make this right inside my head? How do I make this a journey that's more happy, more fulfilling, and a life that I could live and not have my siblings there, especially my big sister? How do I do this without them? Like, and I'm asking God, like, how do you expect me to do this without her? Like, you know, and of course at that time my mom was completely devastated, you know. Unfortunately, she fell into such a deep depression that she never really pulled herself out of, okay? And that for me was another struggle, watching somebody die while they're still alive. And I could easily have been that person. I could have easily have become my mom and died inside. Okay? But like I said, I had a little girl watching me. I had her watching me. And that changed the perspective and the trajectory of my life. One of the first things that I discovered was meditation. And when people started introducing meditation to me, I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. Like, I don't have that kind of time to sit there and zone out. And in my mind, the only picture I had was climbing to the top of the mountain, sitting up there for a few hours. I'm like, sorry guys, I don't have that kind of time. But as time went by, I became a little more educated in what meditation was all about. And this was the first step into something magical happening to me. And although it took me many years of convincing, I kind of regret not taking their advice when I first heard about meditation. One of the first meditations I ever stumbled upon was Jason Stevenson. If you don't know who he is, I will definitely leave a link to him in the description box for you. And he is definitely become the person that I look up to, and he has inspired things in me that I never knew were possible. And this is why when I created this channel, I started off by putting in meditations, because I knew I was going to come back around and talk about the power of meditation for you guys, okay? What meditation has allowed me to understand is that it is so important to train your mind to be in this moment, because this moment, this very breath that you take is the only important moment. It is the most important moment, okay? What I was doing, and I didn't know that I was doing, is I was taking all that fear that happened behind me and I was projecting it into the future. I was telling myself, don't get attached to people. Push away people now, because they're just gonna die on you. And that was my mentality. That's how scared I was. And what meditation has given me is the power of now. It's the moment that I'm breathing this very breath. This is the most important moment to me. And it helped me to realize that I had to release the past. I can't carry the past because it'll just become a part of the future. And I can't keep throwing things out into the future if it's not even happened, okay? So this is what meditation has taught me. It has taught me discipline, mindful discipline. It has taught me to be stronger of mind, because then you become stronger body and spirit. After my breakthroughs with meditation, I became so hungry for knowledge. I wanted more of this knowledge. I wanted to know why this was working and why this was making me feel so much better. And along my journey, I have discovered so many tips, tricks, techniques. I know you guys hear me say that so much. I loved it so much that I began to study the practitioner. I'm a practitioner of the healing arts. I'm a graduate of Southwest Institute of the Healing Arts. This is how much I love the journey that I'm on. And I'm going to share as much information with you guys as I possibly can. I don't know my life any other way, okay? I'm on top of a I'm on top of the hill. I'm on top of the mountains with the monks now. But meditation isn't the only thing that I've introduced into my life, and I'm going to share this guy with you guys. I'm so excited to do that. So we are on this journey together, and if you're watching this video right now and you're in a very dark space, I'm gonna share some information with you that I wish somebody would have said to me when I was dealing with all of this. But just remember that everything turns out okay. I have dedicated my life to giving this information to people because I don't want people to live in a dark hole. I don't want them to be depressed and on the verge of suicide and running to the bathroom to hide their panic attacks. I want to build stronger people, and that's my whole objective. And together, we're going to do this. And I know there's a lot of people out there like me. Reach out to somebody now. You can always reach out to me. My information is in the description box below. If you are new to meditation, I make very short meditations just to get you adjusted to what meditating really is. And I am going to come out with a lot more information about meditation, okay? And little tips, tricks, and techniques. There I go. I said it again for you guys. But anyways, thank you so much for listening to my story. I'm so sorry that I'm a blubbering mess right now, but I just wanted to share that with you guys because let's go past tense. I had a very dark past, and I'm happy to share my story with you now because I know somebody out there is going to benefit from it, and I know somebody, I may have saved a life today. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being there. I say that all the time. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're new to my channel, I'm sorry that this is the first video you get to watch. It's supposed to be blubbering like a baby. But make sure you subscribe, hit your notifications. Please give me a big old thumbs up. Until next time, namaste, namaste. I will see you. Love you much. Bye, guys.